Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. That is a bit too loud, I believe. It was all the way in the red. Okay. Hey guys. How are you doing? How was the previous chapter? Did you like the ending? Do you know how much I loved it when I did it? It was awesome. It was amazing. Hold on, let me just check if the sound is working. Okay, that's great. Okay, just before I start, man, I just want to gush a bit about the previous chapter, because that ending, right? That ending. I saw all the comments on the chapter itself. And it's you know, oh, dude, that chapter. He hiding full strength, and then he just goes mad. It's so good, especially these two lines. It's just like, ah, yes. So I kind of feel like I want to read this out loud, just like in like a cool voice, because you know, it's just stick with me, guys, because I love this part so much. I want to read it in like a cool voice. All right, you ready? It didn't take a genius to figure out what Oyabun had just injected himself with. His entire body became enveloped in a white light, while at the same time, an invisible power that I was all too familiar with exploded out from him. His skin repeatedly broke apart, spurting blood all over, as if there were explosions continuously going off inside his body. Immediately afterwards, the wounds would close right back up. Explode and heal, explode and heal. Just by standing there, he was covered all over with wounds. Just by standing there, he was power personified. Become my underling for real, Kinemitsu Sago. Come at me with all you got. Having gained equal footing to me through the bloods of healing and telekinesis, Oyapun roared while throwing a punch that looked like it could wipe out the very stars in the sky. That was my attempt at reading it. Hope you liked it. Without further ado, let's move on to the next chapter. Okay. 親分の拳には尋常ではない迫力があった。The power behind Oyabun's fist was off the charts. 尋常ではない。尋常ではないですね。You know, it's like not normal, right? So, just off the charts. That works. 理論上、全世界の核爆弾を同時に受けても完全。Even though I had erected even though the barrier I maintained around myself. I was confident that the barrier I maintained around myself was strong enough to block every single tactical nuke in the world. My brain told me. That if I took the attack, I would die. That was how terrifying it was. それほどの威圧感、pressure. Intimidating. That was how intimidating it was. Intimidating it was. これはやばい。Shit. This isn't good. Shit, this is bad. だが、理論上、全世界の各で、それほどの威圧感。これはやばい。だが、全工場を長々述べてくれたので、急展開を飲み込み少しだけ考える時間があった。完全にやる気の親分との戦闘を回避できないと判断。親分と俺の力の衝突による余波を防ぐため、七丈島を中心に半径 10km の最大共同のバリアを展開。バリアの瞬間展開訓練は大学時代に飽きるほどやった。たとえ超広域バリアであろうと 0.2 秒あれば展開できる。昔取った気熱から。よし。Himo says, Oyabun evolved from Hulk to One Punch Man. Pretty much. It's so bad. だが、全工場ながら。Thanks to him giving his whole speech, I had 急展開を飲み込み少しだけ考える時間があった。急展開を飲み込み。was had recovered from the sudden development in the nick of time. 完全にやる気の親分との戦闘は回避できないと判断。Determining that battle was unavoidable. Is it unavoidable? Unavoidable. There we go. Thank you, autocorrect. Determining that battle was unavoidable. Determining from Oyabun's やる気、完全にやる気。やる気。Eagerness, determination. Something better than eagerness. Determining from Oyabun's seeing as how Oyabun was completely ready to throw down. Is that what throw down means? To fight, right? Throw down. That's not what it was. Oyabun was ready to throw down. Funky hip hop so down. No. Okay, no. Probably should not use this word. That's not what it means. Seeing as how Oyabun was completely ready to fight. Basically, I want a good word for fight. So let's look for not the noun, the verb. Battle round 1. Completely ready to Is there another way to reword this? Was all ready to go. You know, whatever. Was all ready to go. I determined that battle was unavoidable. And therefore, ready to rumble. I would use that, but it doesn't quite fit here. I'm sorry. but it was a good suggestion. Therefore, immediately deployed a barrier, the strongest barrier I was capable of in a 10 km radius around Shijojima in order to block, contain. Yep. Okay. No, that's the wrong website, but whatever. To contain the aftershocks, Yoha. Aftershocks, to contain any aftershocks that would be generated from Oyabun and me clashing. バリアの瞬間展開訓練は大学時代に飽きるほどやった。Back during my university days, I had practiced I had worked on deploying barrier deployment. Works grammatically, but not really in the details. Because barrier deployment is not an actual thing. Okay, let's finish the sentence first and then let's tweak it. I worked on this so much that I had gotten sick of it. No matter the 超広域 regardless of the large area. Regardless of the gigantic area. Managed. Deploy it in 0.2 seconds. 昔撮った気熱化 No, that's not what we want. That is not quite right. Experience. But yeah, this happens, you know, like sometimes one dictionary doesn't work. And so I always at least have two dictionaries out, you know. Like Jisho is good for, because it has all this English stuff. It's specialized for Japanese to English. This Weblio is sort of, it's more, the original is more Japanese to Japanese, but then it has English also, sort of things. This is more like Japanese. This is more a dictionary for Japanese people to use, so you see like, you know, all this Japanese all over, everywhere. So sometimes they have like example sentences as well. Sometimes it's completely unrelated, and sometimes I don't know how the search engine works, but like for example, I would have like a word, say they're like 4 letters, it's made of like a two-letter words, and it would like break it up in the example sentence, which means it's absolutely not relevant to me. So as always, each dictionary has its own pros and cons, and while translating, I always recommend at least having 2 or more dictionaries on hand. Since we're talking about dictionaries, I might as well also just share. This is also another thing that I use often. This is Takoboko. Why I sometimes prefer using this is because it doesn't have to load the page, right? Like if I do this, let me think of a random word. Akinameru. I don't know why, but you know, see, it took a little while to, you know, to turn the little circle thing, and it had to load the page and stuff like that. But here, because it's an app, right? It does it right. Akinameru. There it is. Sometimes if you don't remember the full word, it tells you, right? Or for example, you know, key. I just type key, and then it gives you all this other stuff. So sometimes that helps if you don't remember the full word, and sometimes it helps if you have the actual thing here, but you can't copy and paste, and it's a really complicated kanji, so you don't know how to read it, you don't know how to write it, and then that helps, because here you can, for example, it's like a 2-word kanji. Oh, okay, that is something that I don't like that it does. Come on, give me the thing, give me the bar. Okay, stop that. For example, sento, right? Like if you don't know what to is, and that's really complicated, then you can just do a sen and paste it on, and then sento. There you go. So you can look words up like that. But if you sometimes, so this you can do only because you can copy and paste, right? So if you copied here and then you paste it into here, so that works that way. Sometimes you cannot copy and paste because for example, it's not like a text like this. Sometimes it's just a picture, right? Like for example, someone took a picture of, I don't know, someone scanned a light novel, and then so you only have the scans, you only have the pictures, so you can't copy and paste. In that case, you would need a bit of knowledge, but Jisho would be your friend because it has this draw thing here, right? So you can draw it yourself. Like for example, sento, say you don't know to. Oh my god, that's a complicated one. Why did I choose that one? Sento. Okay, that. Do we see it? No, we don't see it. Probably because I did it with the wrong stroke order. See, that's the problem with this one then. You need to have the right stroke order. There we go. Like that. Boom. So there are various ways depending on your situation, depending on, you know, which one you have and things like that. It's as my original point is, it's always better to have several dictionaries on hand. And yeah. Oh, one last thing that I do, we might as well talk about this while we're at it, right? Sometimes the Japanese to English dictionaries, they don't work, or they don't suffice, or they're not good enough, because what you get, you just feel like that's not quite it. In that case, then you really have to look for a Japanese to Japanese dictionary. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, bite the bullet, just go for it. Like for example, this. Imi. Right, and then you go do this, and then you look at this. Sometimes this is especially true of slang words. Slang words that would not be in proper dictionaries, but you know it's a slang word because it reads like a slang word. And so you just have to look it up, right? For example, the thing that we did the other day, what was that? Something's like pum pum maru, right? Pum pum maru. Yeah, like gekyoku pum pum maru. Like, this is clearly not going to be in the dictionary, so you are just gonna have to type it in Japanese and look for a Japanese explanation, and then translate that inside your head by yourself. Okay, quick lesson over. Let's get back. Back during my university days, I had practiced deploying barriers. I had practiced deploying barriers so much. There we go. That I had gotten sick of it. This is not quite right because it sort of puts focus on the fact that he had gotten sick of it, where this is just a secondary thing. It's just meant to emphasize how much he practiced. I practiced deploying barriers so much so. So much so that, you know, whatever. I practiced deploying barriers so much that I would just highlight this and work on it afterwards. Post me. Go you. Regardless of the large area, I managed to deploy it in 0.2 seconds. Oh my. Past. Thanks to all my past. After explaining all that, I forgot to actually look up what this is. Experience. Mukashi totta kinetsu kara. There we go. I was an old hand at it. There we go. Hey, present from the sky. Done at done. Next part.
そして俺は拳をアッパーカットするよう振り上げ、全力全開の念力で親分の拳から放たれた念力を真上に勝ち上げた。
Okay. 俺は拳アッパーカットするよう振り上げ。Ooh, how do I do this? 俺は拳をアッパーカットするよ。I threw my fist in an uppercut. Putting every last scrap of kinetic energy I could muster behind poured every single drop I could muster behind and uppercut. There we go. In order to, first half of the sentence, done. 全力全開の念力で親分の拳から離れたれた念力を真上に勝ち上げた。In order to punch telekinetic upwards.
瞬間、白み始めた空を真昼のように照らす閃光が走り、大爆発が起きた。木々は根こそぎ吹き飛び、爆炎が地を這う島を舐め尽くす。
Instantly, 白み始めた空を真昼のように flash of light. Hashiri. 閃光が走りです。閃光 is light. 閃光。뭐야 Okay. there's no definition. What? It's empty. It's supposed to be here. What? Okay. It's another way of writing this. Flash, streak, shoot through. There we go. It's probably this one. Not the pain. Light. A flash of light. So bright that Instantly a bright light. A light bright enough to illuminate early. Nope, the sentence isn't going well. So it's as bright. So 空を真昼のように照らす線香. So it's a light that illuminates the area like noon. So it's as bright as noon, even though Shiromi hajimeta sora. So this is like the sun has only just come up. Remember, previous chapter they were fighting at night, and Tsukuyomi sort of started to fight in like early morning, like before the sun came out. So probably 4 a.m. 3 a.m. something like that. And then you remember they took several hours to chase the remainders, the escapists, not escapists. They finished the fight in 30 minutes, and then they spent several hours chasing down the stragglers. So this is where the sky has only started becoming white, but then this light is illuminating everything to be like noon. So how do we work with this? 大爆発が起きた. So we can also use this. This is the explosion. A big explosion occurred. We could maybe use this explosion to explain the light. Bad. This is so bad. Bright and bright. Nope. Repetition is bad. Bad. Very bad. Repetition is bad. How do we do this? He even says it's gonna be a scenic fight. 2 men brawling, behind them the sun rises. 2 men brawling, behind them the sun rises. Yes, that's exactly it. Though, I mean, the sun doesn't really matter anymore because the light they generate is brighter than the sun. So bright that it made Shiromi hajimeta. Is there any good suggestions? Sometimes I look at the dictionary for suggestions on how to word things. Turning white. And then we will just thesaurus this. Such a brilliant light, dazzling light. Lots of really good ones. Radiant light, blazing light. intense. Let's go with intense. There we go. Instantly, a giant explosion went off, generating a light so intense that it made the sky that was barely turning white as bright as noon. 木々は根こそぎ吹き飛び、爆炎が地を這う、島を舐め尽くす。Trees. Entire trees were uprooted. Bakuen. Whoa. What is this? What is this? I'm not sure I want to know. Explosive flame. Is that what they call it? No, well, I'm just gonna call it flames. And flames licked every inch of the island's surface.
俺はしびれる腕を押さえつつ、念力で体をその場に固定し、冷や汗を流した。念力の衝突点の空気が一瞬にして天文学的数値にまで超圧縮され、核融合とプラズマ化を起こしたのだ。念力が衝突すると何が起きるのかはシミュレートしたことがある。まさかこういう形で実際に目の当たりにするとは思わなかったが、地球上で起きていい現象じゃねえぞこれ。
Okay. 俺はしびれる腕を押さえつつ念力で体その場に固定し。押さえる。How to say this? しびれる腕。So his arm is tingling. Not tingling. Like he blocked it with his arm. So, well, he didn't block it with his arm. He uppercutted it with his arm. It's numb. Yes, his numb arm. He's holding down his numb arm. Oside, not holding down. You know, like when it hurts. Like say your arm hurts and then you put your other arm on it. You know, it's like. Clutching. Pressing. While pressing. A numb arm. And using telekinesis to hold my body in place. So that wouldn't get blown away. To avoid. While pressing my numb arm and using telekinesis to hold my body in place to avoid getting blown away. Cold sweat ran down my back as I anchor myself. There we go. That's a good word. To anchor myself. So you might have noticed I was doing this part and then I was gonna do clutch my arm down here, but then it didn't work. So it didn't work because I used telekinesis to anchor myself, right? So if I put this behind, this becomes a part of this. So in order to separate the two things, right? Because he clutches his arm and he uses telekinesis to anchor himself. These are two separate things. In order to separate them, sometimes the order is important. Because if you put this down here, I use telekinesis, anchor myself, and clutch my arm. I mean, it sort of works because clutch is also a verb, but it just works better if you separate them in this order. Good stuff. 年力の衝突点の空気が一瞬にして天文学的数字まで超圧縮され、衝突点 point of impact. Again, one dictionary doesn't work, so another one. 衝突点 collision. Point of impact between our two telekinetic attacks. Here at the point of impact between our two telekinetic attacks had instantaneously compress two astronomical numbers. Consequently, generating plasma through. Is this fusion or fission? I can never remember. Through nuclear fusion. That's how bad this is. Human says, I just realized this is Sango's first real battle experience. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And he sucks at it. You're gonna see. He sucks so much at it. It's hilarious. Is plasma generated through... How is plasma generated? Fusion processes require fuel and a confined environment with sufficient temperature, pressure, and confinement time to create a plasma in which fusion can occur. So it doesn't seem like fusion causes plasma. But never mind, I don't care. I don't care. And I don't think you guys are gonna care. 念力が衝突すると何が起きるのかをシミュレートしたことがある。I had previously simulated what would happen if telekinesis was to collide with telekinesis. Never had I imagined, though, that I would be witnessing it firsthand in this manner. まあ、それがこういう形、so in this manner で実際に目の当たりにする。To see it firsthand? とは思わなかった。Never had imagined. 地球上で起きていい現象じゃない。This was definitely not a phenomenon that should be caused on earth. Caused. Generate. Induced. Induced. Let's use induced. Because that's a thought, so that's not narration. That's a thought. So, italics. It's 10:49, so I think we're gonna finish this part, and then we're gonna call it a day. I keep going over the 1 hour, right? So I'm trying to be a bit more better with that. Keep it under an hour. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna call it a day.
念力で炎と煙を散らすと、はるか遠くの海上から親分がソニックブームを出しながら猛スピードで走ってくるところだった。俺のように余波を受け流せず吹き飛ばされたらしい。いや、輸血で身につけた超能力で応用技は使えない。バリア張れないはずだから。余波より早く念抜きで自分を吹き飛ばしたとか、そんなんところか。何にせよ、元気いっぱいだ。
Okay. 念力で炎と煙をめ散らすと、私が猛スピード走ってくるところ。When I cleared the fire and smoke away with kinetically cleared the fire and smoke away, I found Oyabun rushing towards me. Dashing over the ocean surface towards me at a speed that generating sonic booms. 俺のように余波を受け流せず吹き飛ばされたらしい。Apparently he had, unlike me, apparently he had not been able to anchor himself, and therefore gotten blown far away. No, this sentence doesn't look good. Apparently he had been unable, had not managed to anchor himself like I did, and consequently gotten blown far away. Yeah. 輸血で身につけた超能力で応用技は使えない。
Superpowers gained through blood transfusion cannot. Secondary powers? What was that we did in the previous one? Secondary abilities. Secondary abilities cannot be used with superpowers gained through blood transfusion. Which means could have active barrier if he wanted to. Period. 余波より早く念力で自分を吹き飛ばしたとか、そんなところか。What is this saying? It's saying that he used Oyabun, used Neniki to blow himself away faster than the shockwave. But he's trying to approach him, so why is he blowing himself away? Yeah, he got blown away. He already got blown away. より早く念力で自分を吹き飛ばしたとか、そんなところか。So, he must have I'm not quite sure what this part is saying. In any case, 何にせよ元気いっぱいだ。It's not he's trying to dodge by blowing himself away from the area of effect. No, Oyabun didn't need to dodge because he was the one that did the attacking. And I mean, what's the point of so if say this is the point of impact, right? If he's gonna get blown away anyways in this direction, what's the point of doing it like by the shockwave? What's the point of doing it faster by himself just so that he's here faster? I mean, the shockwave is still gonna come. The shockwave is still gonna like move all the way over here and it's still gonna catch up to him. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure. I will think about it a little bit. So, highlight. We are going close to the hour, but I promised to do the rest of this, so let's just do this.
超能力者が超能力者の血を輸血した場合、輸血源と同じ基礎能力が一時的に身につく。俺の血液を取り込んだ親分はオス念力、引き寄せる念力の2種類の最も基礎的な能力を星を消し飛ばすレベルで習得しているわけだ。そして、一時習得の継続時間は輸血量に比例する。今回の注射量から推定される親分スーパーモード維持時間は8から9分といったところ。しかも、時間経過でだんだん弱くなる。
Alright. We lost our formatting. 超能力者が超能力者に輸血 when one esper receives blood transfusion from another esper, he or she attains the other's superpower for a certain period of time. 一時的 can be for a certain period of time or temporarily. I think for a certain period of time sounds better here. 俺の血液を取り込んだ親分はhaving taken in my blood, Oyabun was now in possession of Osuneniki, so the telekinetic ability to push things and pull things. 2種類の最も基礎的な能力を is now in possession of the two basic fundamental abilities of my telekinesis, pushing and pulling. But at a level that could pulverize entire stars. そして一時習得の計測時間を輸血量に比例する。習得継続時間 How long this effect lasts? Depends on how much blood was injected. Judging by what I saw, Auburn's current super mode Oyabun had roughly 8 to 9 minutes in this super mode. Furthermore, the effect would grow weaker with time. それまでしのげば I managed to hold on until then, and then the sentence cuts off. There's no period there. It cuts off. しのげば俺の and I'm not gonna shout this because it's gonna be very loud, but feel free to swap that out with inside your mind. And with that, that is the end of today's stream. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope you look forward to this chapter that will be going out on the website next Saturday. Yeah, that's it. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys soon. Cheers.